These answer choices have some punctuation, so we might be interested in that, but it doesn't really change, right? No matter what we're putting a comma between smaller and foam. The reason is that these are two adjectives, and when we have multiple adjectives, it's kind of like a list, so we use a comma in between them. It doesn't happen often, probably in your own writing, but it is something that can happen. But that's not really what's being tested here. We should just try to figure out the bigger difference, which is, do we need singulars and plurals? So first of all, I'm looking and I see that we've got version and versions, so that's a difference. And then at the beginning here, we have different verbs. Were is plural, are is plural, were is plural, is singular. So just with the fact that one is different, maybe that means D is going to be right. But we've got a couple of things to think about, but it's all singulars and plurals. So let's see how that might shake out with the sentence. Professional American football player Fred Cox invented one of the world's most popular toys. In the 1970s, he came up with the idea for the Nerf football, which is a smaller foam version of the harder and heavier regulation football. So we're not saying it's singular just because it feels like it should be. There's a match here. It's a Nerf football, the Nerf football. It's a single football. Now I understand that they've obviously made many Nerf footballs. Like there's lots of them in the existence, and so you might be like, oh, but doesn't that mean that if we're talking about it in that way, it's plural? No, singular and plural is not about like how your mind conceives of the ideas in a sentence. Singular and plural is very literal. It's like, is the word that we're using singular or plural? It's not footballs, it's football. So that is singular. So because we're referring to it again, it is a smaller foam version of the harder and heavier regulation football. So it's just referred to as a singular thing, so don't complicate it. This is very important on the SAT because when they do test singular and plural, they're almost always doing it in this way where they know that you can kind of like overthink it and start to kind of like imagine the situation in your head. And maybe you're picturing a toy store where the shelf has like a bunch of Nerf footballs. And so you're kind of talking yourself into a wrong answer. But that's very literal. If the word is singular, we're going to use a singular verb to match with it. If it's plural, it's going to be a plural verb. Don't overthink these. Just follow the rule and you'll get these points.